Good morning, everyone. Can you see the next presentation on the screen?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Yes.
All right. Charles, can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Right. So I guess we will just then hand over to the first speaker. Thank you.
Sorry,
Representante nessa manhã.
I can't hear anything from the interpreter, so let's just check if everything is fine. Marisa,
Hello, Ben, I'm here.
all right.
Consegue ouvir?
Okay. Yeah, we can
Thank you,
start.
Ben. Great.
Sim, conseguimos.
So, Vasconcelos, can I just change your presentation as you would like me to, and then you can start presenting?
Ok. Ok. Muito bom dia a todos. Alô, muito bom dia.
Good morning.
Ok. É com enorme prazer,
It's a pleasure
também uma grande honra que nós temos de poder apresentar, assim, de uma
It's-
forma síntese, projetos de mudança de Angola.
It's a pleasure to present the Angolan Change Project
Aos diferentes grupos
for the different groups
projetos de mudança de Angola,
that will participate in the Change Project in Angola,
de partilhar com esta comunidade maravilhosa da UNESCO.
It's a pleasure to share with this community of practice.
Nesse preciso momento, a fazer a apresentação
We are here now making a presentation,
do programa de educação para o
the program of education
e aprendizagem
for development, sustainable,
em Angola.
and the transformative education in Angola.
Wilma, you can go to the next slide.
Dawima, can you move to the next slide?
Hello, Wilma, can you go to the next slide?
I'm seeing the slide map.
Ok. Thank you. Para dizer que Angola, como é de conhecimento de muitos, é um país com 18
Angola, as you know,
e dentre estas 18 províncias, numa primeira fase, foram contempladas neste projeto da UNESCO 4 províncias, nomeadamente
in this group of Angola, 4 provinces was involved in the first time.
o Ambo. Cada província que foi constituída
Each
por
province
grupos estes que levaram a cabo diferentes atividades, assim
that group taking in care different activities.
no Ambo, o Ambo concentrou-se na educação para o desenvolvimento
Wambo
sustentável,
is was focused
educação,
on the
educação da Ravina e da Munda, que será posteriormente desenvolvido pela doutora Ana Robalo. Já Luanda entrou-se no projeto de recolha de papel para reciclagem e separação de resíduos, ok? E Malange teve, Malange concentrou-se, é isto mesmo, Malange concentrou-se na detecção de bactérias, patogênicas em águas superficiais. Estamos aqui a falar de rios, consumida a população da província de Malange. Já o IGE teve como meta a plantação de mil plantas diversas no perímetro da escola de magistério AB. Podemos avançar ao segundo slide, Wilma.
Ben. Ben, can you hear me? Hello, can someone hear me?
I can hear you.
Ok, good. Como nós dissemos, a equipa do IEG teve como seu projeto de mudança a detecção de bactérias patogênicas em águas superficiais do rio,
The
consumidas
one team,
de Malanja. O que motivou a equipa do IEG? Na verdade, foram relatos que esta equipa teve acesso de crianças que iam ao rio e faziam o uso da mesma água, que depois de fazer uso das mesmas, elas
is,
algumas
sorry, Dr. Wilma, I think that the Vasconcelos is going too fast.
estas águas também, ou seja, aquela região onde identificou-se isto,
Okay.
estamos aqui a falar
We will let him know and just tap quickly. Vasconcelos,
Yeah.
Marissa says you're going a little too fast. If you can
Okay.
just slow down a little bit for her. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to slow down. Ok, íamos dizendo
I was
que
saying
a equipa do Almeida,
that the team,
em particular de Malange, teve como
Malange,
de
particularly,
relatos de
they informed that the
faziam
children
das águas
that have been used at this, the others,
Uau. Ok. Então faziam uso das águas e
been used at the water,
verificou-se que muitas dessas crianças
and we saw that
ter
the most of that children,
e não obstante isto,
and otherwise that
não obstante isso, também a zona em si,
the area
histórico,
is a historic place
surtos de cólera.
of cholera story.
Depois destes relatos e outros,
After that information and others
em Malange,
in Malange,
comunidade de prática de Malange,
where's the community of practice of Malange,
da situação.
we don't have the exact number of the situation.
O primeiro ponto foi identificar a
The
flora
first point was to identify
seu impacto sobre a saúde,
the impacts on in the health
objetivo da equipa. O segundo,
was the first objective of the team.
construir filtros ecológicos e
Build the ecological filters
tratamento de água de melhor qualidade,
to water treatment to become the quality water.
ensinar a população sobre a utilização correta dos filtros,
Teach the people the best way to use the filters to treatment of the water.
moradores sobre a preservação dos locais de coleta de água.
Teach people to use the space to collect the water.
Do problema, o grupo teve como missão
After identify the problem,
a bactéria e depois
the group was the mission to identify the bacteria,
solução ao problema
to give solution to the problem.
Ok, podemos avançar. Wilma, you can go to the next slide.
Wilma, can you go to the next slide? Yes.
Ok. De modo dar os primeiros passos na resolução do
were the first steps to solve the problem.
A equipa realizou as seguintes atividades. A primeira
The
atividade
team make the follow activities.
foi a coleta da água do rio Kwanza.
The first activity was to collect the water from the river.
Estamos aqui a falar grupo, né, formado
We are talking about the group
discente.
of students and the letters.
Os estudantes do curso de farmácia.
The student was students doing a pharmacy course
Agroalimentar.
on the agro
Rainha Ginga.
from the University Rainha Ginga.
E a segunda atividade realizada foi o
The second activity was the works in the laboratory.
Dos primeiros resultados.
Was the work in the laboratory to see the first result. That has they collected the bacteria that they
Mostrou ser pertinente e é urgente que se trabalhe neste projeto.
Was important and urgently.
Visto que o rio em causa tem
because the river in situation.
Ou seja, a maior parte da comunidade depende do rio para a satisfação das necessidades básicas.
The majority of the community depends on the river to satisfy their necessity.
A população tira água do rio para seu consumo.
We are trying the people collect the water from the river to use.
Da mandioca em fuba de bombom fazem o uso da mesma água num processo de fermentação.
They use the same water to transform cassava and
E não obstante também o rio
otherwise
é bastante frequentado por turistas que fazem
the river is most visited by tourists.
Então estamos aqui a falar de projeto que visa trazer uma grande mudança.
So we are talking here in the project that they want to bring a huge change. We are talking about immeasurable benefits for the community and the tourists. That is the Malange group. The first stage was done. The next time we will move to the next stage. This is the Malange project.
You can go to the next slide.
We can move on to the next slide.
I don't know if I'm being too fast, Marisa. Is that
It's okay, Vasconcelos. Yes, I can follow. You can continue.
Marisa, I'm a bit fast. Estou a ser muito rápido.
No.
Alô? Alguém ouve?
Yes.
Yes, I can follow you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
You can continue.
Okay, thank you.
We are following you. We're just on the other channels. That's why you couldn't hear us.
Okay, good. Já para Luanda.
To Luanda,
Em primeiro lugar,
in the first time,
Luanda tem a sua comunidade de prática.
Luanda has your own community of practice.
Que é a comunidade de prática de Luanda. Esta mesma comunidade de prática de Luanda.
This community of practice of Luanda from the University of Agostinho Neto.
Temos ainda a participação nesta comunidade de
We have also in this
e
community
trabalhadores
students and the workers from the
não
university.
Esta comunidade, no âmbito
This community,
da concretização do seu plano de mudança,
for your change project,
gestão e ecoeficiência dos espaços das
To the-
infraestruturas da universidade
to the eco-efficiency of infrastructure of Agostinho Neto
O
University.
objetivo deste projeto foi
The purpose of that project
a separação de resíduos
was the separation of beaches, reefs,
e a recolha de papel para reciclagem.
and the collect of people to
Quero
recycle.
aqui um parênteses, quando nós falamos aqui da
We want
recolha de papel, nós estamos
to
aqui a
mention
falar de
here,
recolher papel e em qualquer canto de Luanda. Estamos aqui a falar
we are not talking about to collect any people in any place of Luanda.
afeta a Universidade Agostinho
We-
Neto. Numa primeira
We are talking about the infrastructure at Agostinho Neto University.
a Universidade Agostinho Neto e também temos incluso um complexo
Are also included
geral.
the general learning complex.
Por que razão deste projeto?
Why this project?
Na verdade, é notório a
It's
grande
obvious
quantidade de papel
the huge of paper
e que também é desperdiçado ao mesmo tempo.
they are produced there. Also, it's not being well used.
A mesma unidade orgânica, né? Esse é um caso particular, não sendo a única, mas identificou-se nesta perspectiva.
Was identified
E, em função disso, houve a
that
necessidade de
in
se
this
pensar
was the necessity
tratamento daquelas enormes
to decide
papéis que nós vemos
which future to give to that paper
não somente ao tratamento,
was
também garantir
produced
uma
there.
sustentabilidade com observância do descarte responsável e ecologicamente
We we decide to give a responsible and a better final to the paper.
Papéis já utilizados. E para a materialização do mesmo, aplicou-se o princípio
Make it work
7R.
was applied.
Estamos aqui a falar.
Applied the 7 R's.
Recusar,
Refuse,
resistir, reparar, reintegrar, reciclar, neutralizar. Então, aqui temos a apresentação dos 7R. Assim, em suma, podemos falar que o projeto piloto é da iniciativa da Universidade de Agostinho Neto e tem como a base
in summary, we can say that the pilot project was the Agostinho Neto initiative.
escolar, que numa primeira fase se está a trabalhar simplesmente
In the
com
first
a
stage,
orgânica, que após
they are working and the
desta primeira fase,
infrastructures.
o objetivo é apresentar a réplica nas instituições de ensino superior públicas e
The purpose is to take
primeiro
this project to other situation
para uma questão de amostra para depois garantir a sua generalização. Isso para as demais províncias e também não simplesmente vai albergar as universidades públicas, assim também como as privadas.
they will abranch all the university, public and private university.
Wilma, you can move.
Can you move, Wilma?
Para a materialização deste mesmo projeto, preparou-se uma aplicação denominada Combola. Esta aplicativa
To make it work, they prepared the adaptation called the Combola.
na comunidade para o campus e demais unidades orgânicas da Universidade Agostinho Neto. Então, isto é, a coisa fica mais facilitada, o processo fica facilitado com a aplicação deste aplicativo, que, por sinal, já foi...
Is some tool that will be used at Agostinho Neto University and around, because it's easy to use this application called the Combola.
Hello, can move to the next slide, please.
Can you move to the next slide, please?
Ok. Para o IGE, o projeto de mudança do IGE teve como base
The change project of WIGI,
a criação de espaço verde, 100% verde, fruto do projeto.
the creation of green space,
E para atingir esse objetivo, o grupo
and to achieve that objective,
estabeleceu a meta da plantação de 2.000 plantas.
the which decided to
plano de mudança criou-se, já foram criadas
the which decided to plant 200
bolsas de plantas.
the which decided to plant 1,006
Rubras, abacateiros, papaieiras, eucaliptos, goiabeiras, laranjeiras, limoeiros, bananeiras, sulfoeiros e outras plantas da região. Então, como nós dissemos, criar uma zona verde, 100% verde.
The purpose to create a green area, 100% green.
You can go to the next slide. And the last, of course.
You can move to the next slide.
Slide e último. Estamos aqui a falar ainda no IGE. A equipa também não ficou simplesmente no projeto de plantação de árvores, assim também realizou.
The team also realized that the campaigns of collecting plastic in some schools and to clean
para não aderir às práticas de queimas anárquicas.
all the area.
Esta última parte desta sensibilização da comunidade local para aderir às práticas de queimas, para não aderir, digo.
And we also
nas comunidades
make sensibility to the community.
ligado à própria comunidade em si, assim também como tem constituído distúrbio no próprio meio ambiente.
We sensibility the community to avoid the burn of the area, because this burn has created a disturbance in the community,
da sua prática e o impacto que esta prática tem diretamente,
because this burn have some negative impact to the environment and the health, of course.
Infelizmente, ainda percebemos que as nossas ações parece que só afetam outros e não a nós.
Unfortunately, we understand that our action only affect other people.
É o primeiro prejudicado e depois é quem vem os demais.
But burn the nature, we were the first people who suffer the consequence before others.
E espera-se trabalhar ainda mais
The result was good,
de educação e sensibilização da
and we
comunidade.
want to continue working in this way to sensibilize the community to avoid that practice.
Slide.
This is the last slide.
So we can move to the last slide.
We can move to the last slide.
Ok. Assim, de maneira rápida, olhando para os projetos de mudanças,
Looking to the change project,
que ficou me dizendo que olhando para os projetos de mudanças levados a cabo em Angola, ficou claro
look at the change project made in Angola.
que os ODS
Was clear that the ESD,
ok, os ODS 2, 4,
the,
ODS 2, 4,
the ODS 2, 4,
13 e 13, 6, ou seja, desculpa, os ODS 2, 4, 6, 13 e 15.
the ODS 3, 4, 6, and 15
nos quais as equipas
was the ODS that the teams,
porque até
the Angola teams was focused on.
ou seja, na realização de ODS, de um modo ou outro, acabamos incluindo outros ODS, porque existe
When we focus on one ODS,
diferentes ODS.
we are focusing on another in the same time. To
Eh,
finalize
dito constantemente que as grandes mudanças
the big change,
em algum lugar e foram
started
levar a
from somewhere
e
and for someone.
a responsabilidade foi confiada a mim, foi confiada a nós, primeiro como
And now the responsibility
que também
was given to me and to us.
tudo agentes de mudança.
And
Nós
we are
somos
also,
responsáveis por um mundo
who-
melhor, assim também como
we are responsibility for the better world,
terem mudança significativa. Não podemos contar com amanhã diante. Muito obrigado.
and we need to do something to have a different tomorrow. Thank you for everyone. It's all from
Thank you very much for that very inspirational PowerPoint. It is really amazing what you are doing at the moment. And thank you for sharing it with us. So is there any questions or comments? Then you can just add that for us in the chat, please. And otherwise, as if we do have a couple of presentations today, I will just ask Cindy. Cindy, are you here? Can anybody see her in the panel, or I can't seem to find her. Cindy's, okay. Okay. So I don't see Cindy here yet. All right, so please put your comments and your questions in the chat, and then once we've gone through all the presentations, then we can go back to that. I think that's the best way to do it. So I don't see Cindy here. They did say that there is some power outages. So Ben, do you see Cindy maybe anywhere? No. Okay, so otherwise, I think that we will wait for her and then ask Anna Balu then to start with her presentation. So Anna, if you can just share your screen, then you can continue. Thank you.
Eu vou tentar partilhar a minha apresentação, ok?
I will try to share my presentation.
Ok, conseguem ver a minha apresentação?
Can you see my presentation?
Instalou?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay. One moment. Ok. Ok. Eu vou falar sobre o projeto
I will talk about the project
pela equipa do AMBO,
developed by WAMBU team.
de estudo feito por colega,
It's a result of the studies made by one colleague,
professor de
geography teacher,
Eugênio Calei.
Eugênio Calei.
Realmente problema existente no AMBO.
He talked about the problem from WAMBU.
Ok. Não sei se posso continuar.
May I continue?
Perante este problema que foi detectado no
Due to this problem detected
das ravinas do AMBO, ressaltou
about the WAMBU ravine,
falar sobre a ravina da Munda. A Munda situa-se num bairro periférico da cidade do
Munda was located in the perfect area
taxa populacional bastante elevada,
with the high population,
comércio informal,
with informal commerce.
Que podemos verificar aqui.
We can see here
Precárias condições.
the worst condition.
Fazer a sua lavra no meio do lixo.
We can see someone doing the activities in the
Como lazer e muitas delas com
in the trash,
meio de sobrevivência.
and some of the I was there has a survivor way.
Ainda falar desta do slide anterior, que eu agora não consigo passar para o outro slide. Ainda falando do problema de
Talking about the problem
encontramos na ravina da Munda,
that we found in Munda ravine,
fora do sistema do ensino obrigatório.
out of the obligatory,
Mais
out
de
of
200.000 crianças que não se encontram no sistema de ensino.
more than 300 children was out of education system, and they use the local activity to survive. In this area,
Não é suficiente para abarcar este número de crianças. Daí que são dados bastante graves e que nos sensibilizou. Temos também, agora vamos passar, perante este problema levantado,
due to this problem,
uma aprendizagem significativa de educação do desenvolvimento sustentável.
we followed the significance learning
Começamos
to the EDS.
Por uma aprendizagem significativa. E fomos dividir o nosso trabalho em fases.
We divide our work in phase and stage.
2022, nós começamos pelo conhecimento fundamental.
In 2022,
Aplicação.
we start by the fundamental learning.
Vamos começar com o conhecimento fundamental e aplicação.
We start with the fundamental knowledge and application.
Que também já foram referidos pelo Vasconcelos. Temos o ODS 2, o ODS
We have ODS 2, 6,
12,
12,
desculpem, o 13 e o
15, and 15.
Pressa demais, Marisa, Vilma. Começamos pelo nosso conhecimento fundamental.
We started from our fundamental knowledge.
Porque tivemos várias atividades e uma das quais foi
We had of activities.
Local ir à ravina da Munda.
Which one was the go to the Munda ravine?
E que tivemos a sorte de conhecer.
And we likely know.
Com o nosso SOBA. O nosso SOBA é a nossa entidade
We know Mr. Soba. Soba is our entity that have a lot of knowledge about the ravine.
podemos tirar bocadinho do trecho onde o SOBA nos explica de como
Here we can hear what SOBA explained us.
e preveníamos estas ravinas.
Here we can hear what SOBA explained how they trade and prevent ravine.
Como o caso das londeias, o caso do sobreiro, o caso das canas, que iriam ajudar a prevenir e a controlar as ravinas. Também plantas essas que nos focam.
Some plants like cana can help to prevent ravine.
Então, este senhor, este SOB, esta entidade, tem vasto conhecimento que nos foi transmitido.
This guy
Nós poderíamos
gave us a lot of knowledge
dentro do bairro da Munda.
that can help to prevent ravine.
De vários colegas, onde fizemos várias questões.
Was a lot of colleagues involved,
O conhecimento indígena vai ser o ponto de partida para que todo
where indigenous knowledge will be the first step.
No ponto seguinte,
The second point,
trabalhamos a aplicação. Ainda não terminamos.
we work on the application. We didn't finish yet.
Aplicação agora que começou o segundo semestre. De dizer também que
We pretend to continue now, start the second semester.
Professores, estudantes do IXE do AMBO,
Are involved with lecturers and the students from Wambu and the Munda community. We collect a lot of data from the interview that we make in the field using the new technologies.
De seguida, como é que nós pretendemos resolver este problema?
How we pretend to solve the problem?
Para criar uma cultura de conectividade com a natureza,
we want to create a connective culture with nature.
Preservá-la não só de sacrificar o nosso sustento, sacrificar a natureza e o nosso próprio sustento e envolver a
We don't want to sacrifice the nature and our honor.
De práticas saudáveis para a prevenção do fenómeno da erosão. E como é
So
que
we
nós
want to-
vamos fazer e como é que nós vamos... Ui, meu Deus. Ok, desculpem. E como é que nós vamos tratar neste trabalho de aplicação?
How we'll do this application work?
Com oficinas de capacitação. Para realizar as
Capacity-
oficinas visam capacitar os membros da comunidade rural.
We will capacity the member of the rural community
E uma conexão com a natureza. Estas
to have some connection with the nature.
diversas atividades práticas, como o plantio das árvores, a compostagem,
We plant a tree.
a criação de hortas orgânicas, entre outras. Vemos aqui algumas
We plant a
questões
tree, we make a
que foram
composting.
citadas pelo nosso SOB, pela nossa entidade tradicional, onde já se aplicavam no seu tempo, e aqui nós vamos buscar também o conhecimento indígena. A
We
compostagem
will use the knowledge from our traditional entity
afirma
and the indigenous knowledge.
no desenvolvimento do século XXI, do século XX, XXI, nós produzimos muito lixo e aproveitamos esta ravina para dar...
We are producing a lot of trash and we use this ravine to discard our trash.
lixo para transformá-lo em adubos para os nossos campos.
So we pretend to transform this trash.
Das passagens que nós tivemos com o nosso SOBA e queremos que apresentar no nosso trabalho juntamente com o conhecimento dele e aplicar na prática.
We want to put it in practice, transform our trash in fertilize the knowledge that we learn from our traditional identity.
Sobre a importância da preservação ambiental e
We talk with the community about the importance of
nós achamos de extrema importância
Of
trabalhar com as
nature
crianças
preservation.
que já têm conhecimento
In this point, we prefer to work with this guy that we found that they have a previous knowledge about the ravine,
que são bastantes, como já disse anteriormente, a província do Ambo.
because we have a lot of children that are out of the education systems.
Então, acho que é fundamental criarmos aqui
So it's important here to create a community of work to develop some survival projects. We will use practical activities, we will plant trees.
Também achamos que seria necessário para uma segunda fase do projeto trabalharmos com o grupo teatral desta comunidade, capacitá-los sobre programas de
We
educação.
pretend to work of the theater group from this community to capacitate them
Fazer e inseri-los dentro desta comunidade.
and put them inside of this community to help us to sensitive the community.
Os primeiros impactos que nós achamos que este trabalho poderia ter era envolver a comunidade.
The first impact that we found is to involve the community
Mostrar à
on
comunidade que o projeto tem
the purpose of the project.
beneficiar a comunidade. É extremamente importante que a comunidade se sinta
Show them that the project will benefit them.
realmente beneficiar com
They
todo o
need to understand that the project will change their life in such a way.
reais e significativas. Agregar novas aprendizagens. Estas novas
Add new
aprendizagens
learnings.
é um trabalho bastante interessante porque vai reunir conjunto.
This work is interesting because we'll join
E a comunidade do bairro da Munda.
a lot of groups.
Integrar o conhecimento indígena ao conhecimento científico.
We will join indigenous knowledge and scientific knowledge.
Muitas vezes o que as crianças aprendem na escola, quando chegam à comunidade,
A lot of time, the things that children learn at school,
fazer aqui uma ligação.
when they go to their community, they don't find the link to what they learn and what they see in their community.
Vai ser extremamente trabalhoso e com
So we think that our project will help in this way to connect what they learn at school and what they found in their community.
cultural. Eles são realmente uma fonte de saber. E estando em contato com este nosso SOBA, nós detectamos
Being in touch with this our SOBA,
património
we figure out that
cultural extraordinário, no qual
there are so historical patrimony.
desse valor. Estabelecer também uma conexão entre a teoria aprendida na sala de aula e a prática do campo, tal como nós já dissemos aqui no ponto número 5.
Saying to connect what we learn at school and what we found in the community.
A toda a comunidade.
I want to tag all the community
E aos meus professores
and our teachers
parte deste início de projeto. Quero
that with us in the beginning of this project.
ao amado, ao amável, à Delfina, ao Geraldo, ao Vasconcelos.
I want to tag to Augusto, Amado, Amável, Delfina, Geraldo, Moisés,
Porque foi a partir do problema que ele detectou dentro da sua
because
do seu trabalho
was
que nós
from the problem that he
ir à
identified in his community that we developed this project.
educação sustentável no bairro da Munda. Obrigado.
That allow us to implement a
Linguagem
development education in the development education in the WAM. Thank you.
Dou assim como terminada a minha apresentação.
It's all. Thank you.
Vilma.
Thank you, Anna, for that lovely presentation. What visual images from both you and Vasconcelos. And it is really important to connect the communities with nature, and doing it through the activities that you are doing is the way to go. And I think Indigenous heritage, bringing that into also the community of practice, is an essential part to ensure success of these types of projects. Thank you for sharing. There we go. And our next presenter is Cindy. and she will be presenting ensuring implementation of ESD in the education sector through the development of Eswatini National ESD strategic plan. Cindy, would you like me to share, or do you have your presentation?
Please share.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Just going to quickly share your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from the University of Eswatini, and I'll be presenting on my change projects that I embarked on for the SST 2021 program. The topic for my change project is ensuring implementation of ESD in the education sector through the development of Eswatini National ESD for 2030 strategic plan. The next slide, Irma. The next slide, please. And the background or the overview is that I joined the program, the SST 2021 program, with a community of practice for my university, the University of Eswatini, where I intended to represent my department in our community of practice, which was made of different departments in the Faculty of Education. But when in September 2021, I was brought into a new working committee, which is called the Technical Working Group for ESD for 2030, the national initiative. I decided to work with this group as my new community of practice, and that is the background. So the major responsibility of the technical working group that was formed in September 2021 was, among others, mapping ESD key stakeholders and their activities in the country, also identifying priority areas and opportunities for promoting ESD in the country. The third one is establishing partnerships and networks essential for implementing ESD activities and initiatives. And lastly, for now, is designing concrete initiatives and implementation plans that would and also implement those planned activities, report the progress to UNESCO, and also join regional and global dialogues for sharing of information. The next slide, please. So the newly formed ESD for 2030, TWG decided to prioritize the development of the Eswatini Education for Sustainable Development Strategy for 2022, for 2022 to 2030. Sorry for that typo, because we didn't have a guiding policy document for all the activities and for ESD. So we felt that we need a frame that we can use to work on ESD initiatives and activities. So I changed that. I chose that process, therefore, to be my change project now, and change from the initial change project. 3 members of the TWG registered for the SST 2021 online course. So therefore, we work together on this change project. The ESD national strategy and its implementation plan comprise of the following strategic and key focus areas. One is policy and advancement for ESD. Two is building capacity, educators and trainers. Three are building partnership networks that we can use to work on ESD issues. Four is youth and community engagement. Five is research, monitoring, evaluation. And the last one is creating or promoting the 21st century skills, jobs, and a sustainable economy. The next slide, please. Then we also looked at, chose some key result areas, what we'll focus on as in this project. And therefore we had the following: we will focus on policymakers and government and local government in the development of the national framework. We also are focusing on formal education, informal education, TVET education, community education and empowerment. And also we've not left out industry, media, networks, and social learning. So those are our key result areas for the national strategy. Then when we asked ourselves what change we are looking for or what value we are aiming at creating with this project of developing a national framework, we had the following values that we aim to get. One was mainstreaming ESD in all sectors of society through the use of interdisciplinary and multi-stakeholder approach towards implementation of ESD at all levels and in all forms of education. Number two was mapping of ongoing efforts, policies made in the countries on ESD and concerned stakeholders. So we wanted to find out what is there on the ground. Three was mobilization and collaborative networking of all concerned key stakeholders working in the 5 ESD priority areas under a nationally coordinated strategy. And 4 is to enhance the quality of education in the country, so that especially SDG 4, we are working towards enhancing the quality, improving the quality of education in partnership and collaboration with multi-stakeholders. The next slide, please. Then what are the actions that we planned? What were the action plans for the change project? What did we plan to do? The first thing we plan to do is creating a diverse in-country technical working group that will consist of multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholders working in the 5 ESD areas. We wanted to make sure that the key stakeholders on ESD issues are included in the technical, in the working group, in the smaller coordinating unit. Number 2, we were looking forward to mapping ongoing efforts and policies made in the country. We wanted to know what is on the ground. And that was done between November 2021 and February 2022. The next thing that we aimed at working on was have a technical workshop for development of the ESD for 2030 strategy. And various consultative workshops were held and between July and mid-September in 2022. Then number 4, we planned for a consultative workshop with ESD stakeholders led by the Ministry now of Education and Training, and that a number of key stakeholders, and this was held in October 2022, when we had our first national policy dialogue. The next slide, please. And number 5 in the action plan, we had the development of the National Eswatini ESD for 2030 strategy, which we were able to complete the first draft in January, and the second draft was completed in February. Then number 6, we plan to establish partnership and collaboration with relevant institutions and organizations for the implementation of ESD in the country. And that process is ongoing. We are still establishing new partnerships and new networks. As we started when the technical working group was established. And the last one was to provide technical support to all ongoing ESD activities and initiatives. We started going all out to support the institutions and the schools that participated in the 2020 SST 2021 program. And it started in January up to the present. The support is still available to all institutions. Then when we look at what we have achieved, the first thing we achieved within the framework, within the strategic framework, was to come up with this multi-stakeholder technical working group, which consists of representatives from relevant government ministry, the academia, non-government organization, the civil society, youth groups, and other community activists involved in ESD activities. And this was established in September 2021. This technical working group is led by the Ministry of Education and Training and the National Commission of UNESCO, which is the secretariat of this coordinating group. So the picture shows us some of the members who were doing an ESD activity, supporting an ESD activity in one of our universities in Eswatini. The next slide, please. We also are proud to say we were very happy to achieve this one, where the mapping report of the ESD activities in the country was produced and presented in our first national policy dialogue, which was sponsored by UNESCO Rosa. That's why then we see our man, Dr. Charles Chikunda, who was the one who was sponsoring through office that national dialogue, where there was a lot of further consultation on the strategy. This next slide, please. Then, and the third one that we have achieved in this project is that we were able to establish partnerships and collaborative relationships with UNESCO. A memorandum has been signed with UNDP and other non-governmental organizations that are involved in ESD activities in schools and tertiary. For instance, the two pictures you see there are the two organizations, non-governmental organizations that are working with schools and universities in other projects, but we were able to get to partner with them and integrates ESD, the ESD component in their projects they are sponsoring in the schools and the tertiary institutions. As a result, the project now they do in the tertiary institutions and in the school has an ESD award where there is assessment of all the projects of how much of ESD has been integrated. The next slide, please. Then the committee also, the TWG, through this project, is able to support the SST 2021 country program, and it was offering support, technical support, to all the institutions that were participating in the ST 2021 program. So these are the pictures. Give us an example of how the members of the technical working group would go to each institution on site visits to offer technical support. Therefore, we are happy to report that of all the participants who enrolled for the program, 51% of them now have graduated, and the others are still working to finish the program. The next, then 5, we partnered also, we collaborated rather with other government ministries, especially the Ministry of Agriculture, because one of the activities we wanted to push during this time, we had planned to do during that, is the greening of schools and institutions. So we partnered or collaborated with the Ministry of Agriculture in providing trees, sometimes in providing fruit trees to the institutions so that they can plant these trees in their schools. So there have been a number of activities done in schools for greening of schools and institutions. The next slide, please. Then number 6 of our achievement is the development of the Eswatini National ESD 2030, ESD for 2030 strategy, the second draft that has been completed, and we are awaiting its validation by key stakeholders. The next slide, please. Then the next point of my presentation is on value creation. What value did I find that this project, this change project has achieved? What value did it come? There are different values that were taught in the ST 2021 program. So amongst the values that I realized from this project, or I identified from this project, are the following. There is a realized value for me in participating in this community of practice. And the realized value is that I learned teamwork, and I learned a different aspect in that the group from a diverse professional environment and background is quite enriched with knowledge and skills in education and environmental issues. Because this group that is my community of practice now, that is the technical working group, is a diverse, coming from a diverse multi-stakeholder environment. So I found that the teamwork that I got into was quite enriching. Then potential value, I gained understanding of the linkages between education and other areas of specialization or other areas of work and specialization, like working with the Minister of Education, Agriculture, and Minister of Sports, and the community activists, make me realize that we are all working towards a common goal. All these sectors are very important in education for sustainable development, and therefore we should always be working together. So I have kept those linkages even for future consultations and future benefits. Then applied value from the change project I engaged in is that I now have a network of stakeholders to consult on diverse issues for work and personal life. I now have my garden that uses organic manure from an organic compost pit that I have made as a result of learning from these diverse stakeholders that are in this group. The next slide, please. The realized value from this change project is that most schools and tertiary institutions are actively engaged in tree planting now. They plant indigenous trees, fruit trees, and different types of trees, so that in one school, they have planted so many fruit trees that they now offer the fruits to the school as part of the school feeding. So I think that really that aspect of the change project has also become very valuable into the school. And also the integration of ESD at tertiary level has increased in those institutions that participated because of the change project's component. A lot can be seen, the outcomes of participation by the tertiary institutes can be seen visibly in every institution. The greening of the institution, the projects that they are doing, the reuse of waste paper and other waste materials, it has really been integrated in many institutions, especially the participants of the SST 2021 program. Reframing value, I've come to value the multi-stakeholder and interdisciplinary approach to handling community issues and national issues. I found it to be very effective in addressing issues, especially of education for sustainable development. I've also come to understand that ESD practices should translate to transform professional practice. It should not just be learning of skills, learning of knowledge, but it should translate into practice of your professional practice and also your lifestyle for both young and old. The next slide, please. Okay, coming to challenges, we had a few that because this is the first technical working group that we have that is made of a wide, diverse multi-stakeholder. So we found that one of the challenges was that we had difficulty meeting, especially face-to-face. But also when we were opting for online meetings, you would find that a member would log sometimes and still be busy with office work. So we found that it was a little bit of a hurdle to have meetings, but we overcome it because we ended up developing what we wanted to develop, but it was a problem, especially at the beginning of the change project. The second challenge we had was, we still have, is financial constraints. And that has held us behind in that we have not been able to validate this national strategic plan with the key stakeholders, and we are held by lack of finances, but we're still hoping that we'll be able to come up with something. But I also realize that we have a challenge in developing financial resources. If we proposal writing, we have a challenge. We are not skilled enough. Very few of us are skilled on writing proposals for funding. So we have to look to it and how to overcome that. We also realize that promoting ESD in Swaziland is popular, but is not, has become popular, but it's not yet woven into the daily life of the people and government policy. There's still no policy that supports a lot of these activities. That's why it's moving at a slow pace. Integration is moving at a slow pace. And also there is lack of educational technologies. In this case, it's the difficulty we have. We have difficulty in internet connections, stable internet connections. And also we still have insufficient computers and other facilities that can be used. We are aware that ESD is already woven on online channels or facilities, but we are not able to access it as easily as we would like as a country. The next slide, please. We also feel that needs, okay, we are now on the way forward. I'm now on the way forward. What are we planning for upscaling? What are the future plans for our group, the community of practice that I'm in? They still need to assess the use of the change projects. So we're looking at developing a tool, a monitoring and evaluation tool for the change projects, so that we can assess how far the institutions are using this initiative or this practice or this methodology in their everyday teaching practice. There's need to validate, as I have already alluded to, but you also think that there's need to plan to develop an ESD policy that would enable an easy implementation of the strategy. We are planning to capacitate all educators on ESD because we realize there are few. It was only some members of the faculty of education in the institutions that participated, but we still feel that all educators in whatever faculty need capacitation on ESD. So we're planning to go all out. We're still planning how to do it. And then we also plan to empower and mobilize the youth for ESD activity. Like I said, I said before, the youth is under the Ministry of Sport, Youth, Sports and Culture. And most of the activities, they concentrate on sports and not other issues that concern the youth. So we want to go out and concentrate and focus on how to engage the youth. The next slide, please. Oh, thank you. I think that was the last slide. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Cindy. That was so interesting, and the progress that you have made over the last 2 years is quite extraordinary. As we are running a little bit late, I'm just wondering, so our next presenter is Tando Kufle, and I was wondering, there you are, yes, so you're more than welcome to share. Thank you very much, welcome, and we are looking forward to your presentation. But I just would like to say is all of this will be available on the website, and I'll add our video of this and our presentations also on the website. Thank you. So Tando, if you can share your screen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Thank you.
Okay, good day, everyone. My name is Tando Mahuza. I am from Mochane Primary School. We are an ASPNet school from Swatini. I will be presenting about the change projects that we do as a school. We as Mochane Primary School, we are mainly focused on educating the learners on ESG and producing learners that will be able to go out there and preach the gospel of ESG everywhere they go. Our change project, the title of our change project is Growing Herbs and Planting Fruit Trees. Before we took this course, SST, we were already engaged in some change projects, ESG change projects, but after taking the course, we were able to improve, we're able to scale up. Most of our change projects are based on the SDGs. As you can see here, we have already covered zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institution, and gender equality. My presentation will be most pictures. I wanted Elena to present here, but unfortunately, this is our test week, so I wasn't going to be able to disturb them. And so I will just proceed. As you can see here on the first picture, this is where everything began. We made a garden where we wanted to plant our herbs. On the next picture, you can see the learners there. They are already planting the herbs, and the herbs they are now ready on the third and the fourth picture. As you can see, these are the pictures of the herbs that we planted in our herb garden. They included basil, coriander, sage, peppermint, spearmint, parsley, yarrow, lemon balm, lemon vendetta, lemongrass, pennyroyal, oregano, pineapple sage, hyssop, and just to mention a few of them. What happens here, it depends on the season. We are in a region whereby we are affected by cold so much. We usually have frost, and so during winter, only a few survive, but we usually have most of our herbs during summer season. What we do here, we educate the learners about the herbs. We tell them about the importance of using herb in such a way that now they have their own gardens at home where they have herbs that they use. They mostly have mint and lemongrass, which they say they use for cold. We also used 2-liter plastic bottles to plant herb. Here, what we do, another thing that we do, want to equip our learners with certain skills that they will be able to use. As you can see here, we've introduced vertical gardening, and more on that, we've also used reused 2-liter plastic bottles to plant meat and mint. As you can see here, this is mint, and we've done it with the learners. They are the ones who are doing the project here. We've moved on from that. Now that our learners are well versed with planting of herbs, we've then scaled up we've now engaged other people. We've engaged the community. As you can see here on the first picture, we have teachers from other schools, because we are now preaching the gospel of ESD to even other schools. And so these are teachers from other schools. We also have lecturers from teacher training institutions, and we also have government officials. They came to our school to learn more about ESD. What happens is we are now, maybe I can say we are now an ESD referral center. If you need to understand more about ESD, people usually come to our school because we have most of the things that include ESD. We also have on the next picture, that is a high school from Babane, a city from Swaziland. They came to us. Actually, more and more schools come to us. These are just a few that I'm showing here of those who come to us so that we can teach them about ESD. Fruit tree planting. As you can see there, the learners are planting trees. On the first slide, they are still mixing the soil and everything. The second slide, they are already planting. And on the last slide, those are the trees there. They are already ready to be taken and to be planted. What we do here, we have a project that we do with the learners, especially those who are doing the last grade. Once they finish writing their exams, every one of them takes his or her tree home so that they can plant them at home. Our main goal is that by the year 2030, we want every homestead in this area to have at least 5 fruit trees. Every homestead to at least have 5 fruit trees, because we believe that by then we would have covered every learner that comes from all the homesteads around. Here are some of the trees that we have. We're already eating them. As Cindy has said, that there are some schools whereby now they have more fruit trees that even the learners, they even now share them with the learners. As you can see here, once we pick them, we give them to the learners during this season, where there are peaches, there are plums and other fruits. The learners enjoy so much. As you can see there, they are even mouth-watering. Every learner gets some. During break time, when they go for their lunch, we give them some fruits, the fruits that they themselves have planted. We don't only plant fruit trees, we also plant ornamental plants and indigenous plants. As you can see there, there is a learner planting a tree over there. Some of the ornamental plants are already planted around the school. There are some of the trees that we have planted around the school. Actually, in our school, we've planted more than 100 trees now, I guess. And just on this week, on Monday, we had another group that visited us. They brought some trees to us so that we can plant even more trees. What we did is, now that the learners know how to plant trees, we've invited an expert from the Ministry of Agriculture. He came to us, and then we also invited parents of the learners to come so that they themselves can be educated on how to plant trees. As you can see there, there is Mr. Dlamini from the Ministry of Agriculture Forestry Department. He's showing the learners and the parents how to plant trees. Because now what we are doing is we are involving the community. We want everybody around this area to be able to at least plant 1 or 2 trees in their homesteads. Okay, we are also now working with other organizations, environmental organizations like Temvelo, ECJA, Maloloja Game Reserve, Siyalu Sempilu, a lot of organizations now come to our school. They want to work with us. Actually, everybody who wants to do anything about EST, they come to us because they know that they will be welcome, and we always welcome them so that we can be even educated more, we can get more knowledge. As you can see there, those came this week on Monday, they were here. You can see the learners there, they are watching attentively because they want to see what is happening over there. Although they know how to do these things, but it is always nice to see other people coming to you, telling you, reviving you on what you already know. And so, yes, that's it. What happened is the learners, now that they know what EST is, and they know that it is because of the decades and years of unsustainable living that caused everything that is happening now. They know that they are the ones who can fix what we have made wrong. And so they were like, let us make a school park. They understand that they may not be able to enjoy this park, but in future, those that are coming after them will be able to enjoy the park. As you can see there, they've created a park over there, and now they are even planting some flowers and some trees all over the park there. We are also involved in the production of vegetables and crops. As you can see, we have got vegetables and we also have crops. After doing the SST course, it introduced us to indigenous knowledge that we had forgotten. And so we had to go back to indigenous knowledge. And after combining it with the modern knowledge, we came up with smart climate agriculture, which is what we are practicing now. We had a challenge with the ever escalating prices of fertilizers and all the inputs for farming. And so doing the conventional agriculture, involving the indigenous knowledge into agriculture made things easy, because we are now using even lesser inputs than we used to do. As you can see here, we are already practicing smart climate agriculture. Everything that we do now, it is smart. And so you can see that these learners will be better than us because they now understand ESD even better. They know that we can do better, we can use even lesser inputs whilst getting a lot of yield. As you can see here, there is a lot of mulching, and they are the laborers. They do everything themselves. No machinery is used now. They just do everything themselves. The methods of farming that we are now using as a school attracted even other people. These people that you see here are representatives from SADC countries. They are from FAO. They came to our school to check the smart climate agriculture methods that we are now using. And so you can see we're just a primary school, but we're able to attract even more people from far away places, just to come and see how we are doing things now and how we are coping with ESD. Besides the agricultural activities, we also do other projects here at school. As you can see here, the learners are making seeds. We have pine trees here, but there was nothing to sit on. And so the learners were like, let us make some seats under the trees where we can sit and relax during break and lunch time. And so as you can see, the learners are making some benches over there, and now little ones are already sitting over there. We don't stop there. We also do litter picking almost every day. As you can see, there are the learners there carrying refuse bags and wearing gloves. We collect papers inside and outside the boundaries of the school. We also have cleaning campaigns whereby we go around the whole community collecting papers all around. What we do then with the papers, we've now educated the learners that we select the litter. As you can see here, they've already made plastic ropes using the plastic. We take the plastics, we put them together. We take what is organic, we put it on the compost heap. Now they've recycled it. They've made plastic ropes, which they are now using to cover the benches there so that it can a little bit of some cushion. And so you can see now that they are now more creative because of ESD. We also keep some animals here at school for commercial purposes, for consumption, and we also keep them for therapeutical reasons. As you can see here, there we've got some rabbits. Those rabbits, we sell them, and they are also there just for the learners to admire them and to, just to admire them. They are there for therapy. We also have peacocks, we have guinea fowls, we have turkeys, we have different kinds of chickens, we have ducks, and we also have a monkey. We have about 3 monkeys now, which are the favorite of the school. These we use for therapy. The learners like them. They like to go there. They like to speak to the animals, and indeed, it is therapeutical to the learners. We also do live on land. We've educated our learners that animals are not there to be killed, but they are there to be reserved. Maybe some of them, you just let them be. Okay, as you can see here, those 3 are carrying, those are tortoises. I don't know where they found them, but they brought them to school and we kept them. We are keeping them here at school. And now that the learners know more about animals, we found it very important that we educate them about snakes. And so we invited somebody from their anti-venom department, came to our school to educate our learners about snakes, because that's one animal everybody is afraid of. When you see a snake, you feel like beating it. And so it stopped from that day when we invited that somebody from the anti-venom department to help the learners, educate them about snakes. What should you do when you see a snake? To avoid snakes, what is it that you have to do, as you can see in the picture there? We also do some therapeutical activities. As you can see on the first picture there, our learners are eating. Actually, what we do, we organize a few things for them so that they can relax and enjoy. And on the other side, on the right side, it's teachers there. They are doing the same thing. We also organize some games for them. As you can see there, they are carrying some cars which we rented somewhere just for the learners to enjoy them, just to have fun, for fun. And on this picture, it was our fun day where we allowed everybody to wear whatsoever you felt like it will be something that will make us happy, will make us laugh. And what we saw here is that the learners which are not that much good academically were the ones who wore something that was exciting, something that was fun. And for once in their lives, they were like, we made something, whereby everybody was like, wow, about it. And since we are now an ESD referral center, we even got an award, an ESD award, which was hosted by UNESCO. We got position 1 as Mochane Primary School. As you can see there, we were given an award for being the pushers of ESD, if maybe I can put it like that, which also attracted the eyes of the media. Now we are always out on TV, newspapers are talking about us. All the media houses actually are talking about ESD. And if you want to understand more about ESD, they tell you go to Mochane Primary School. And so as Mochane Primary School, we've somehow achieved the goal whereby we want to promote ESD. We want to educate everybody about ESD. And we believe that since we have taught the learners who are the future. We believe that there will be some change in the next 10 years. Our community, the community around, is going to change, and we are going to produce learners which are going to change the world, which are going to bring back what we have lost. I guess this is my last slide. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed that presentation. I mean, just the impact the school has from the learners having that delicious fruit and vegetable garden and learning about animals, bringing that into the community, and then the ESG going further on TV, and that is really fantastic work. And thank you for sharing that with us, Tandu. And I'm going to definitely contact you, because I would like you to also share that with some of our other groups, our schools, particularly our school projects. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much for all the presentations. I really enjoyed it. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to add this all on the website and send a link through to that. And then we are going to continue with these webinars, and next week have another session on this. And this is why we are doing the SST, sharing what we have been doing. And just want to say thank you very much for everybody that's presenting, for all the work that you are doing. You are making a difference within the communities, and we are educating people. Just say, well done, great work, thank you. Is there anybody that would like to comment before we leave? Well, then I guess I will. Thank you, Charles. I
Just
didn't
to
see you
say
there.
thank you so much for the people who are presenting. Thank you very much, Obrigado. This is fantastic work. We would want to keep on hearing more work happening in countries. So I'd like to say thumbs up. Thanks a million times. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Very much.
Adieu.
Thank you. Bye
Okay,
bye.
ciao.
Tchau, tchau.
Ciao. Bye bye.
Obrigada, Marisa. Foste extraordinária na tradução. Beijinhos. Obrigada.
Ben, are you there?